Hi, you're about to get imperfect advice from an imperfect parent. I want to talk about when you feel disrespected by your kids, and I actually have some helpful things to say here, however imperfect they may be. When your kid, and I'm thinking especially about teenagers here, seems to disrespect you, is treating you with disrespect, the most important thing to do is very little. And you want to correct their behavior seldom and in very small bites. If they're on a topic and they're talking to you in a shitty way that's treating you like you're scum, the problem is probably the topic, not their opinion of you. And if you try to take them off that topic, even if they're not saying it out loud, even if they're just on it mentally, but if you try to redirect to discussing how they should respect you and how one treats a parent with respect and what a respectful way of treating you would look like, they just really can't hear that. And then all you do is create a greater divisiveness between the two of you, a greater division. And if you are talking and they're not really hearing and your stuff is up and your tone gets strident and you're upset and you're basically begging or demanding to be respected, you're not being respectable. Be respectable, and by and large your kids will respect you. Will they always treat you with respect? No. That's really just not where they are right now developmentally. They're trying to separate from you, and they're also trying to work out a whole lot of stuff, and they don't care that much about how respected you feel. So if you want to, sometimes briefly say something like, I really don't like this tone. Like, when you talk to me like this, it's actually really hard for me to hear you. Or you might say, you know what, I feel like you're really upset right now and I'm not your problem. I'm actually an ally. Please don't talk to me this way. And then you're done. And if they want you to engage with them in that moment, they'll stay with the conversation. And if they don't, let it go. They're okay without you. Better to give them a message of love than a message of, you don't respect me. When I went to the school for the work, one amazing thing that Byron Katie did was tell some stories about things she learned later on in her parenting journey. And what she would say to herself when her kid was being a certain way that wasn't so great is, I taught her that. I taught him that. I taught them that. So, you might notice when they're treating you disrespectfully, did I teach my kid to treat me this way? Because if you have put up with any amount of ways that they treat you, talk to you, respond to you, and suddenly in the teen years, when more things that they're doing are rubbing you the wrong way, you want to demand that they treat you differently, it's just not going to work. So you be different. One of the great turnarounds, here I'm referring to Byron Katie's turnarounds, where she has people apply to yourself what you're saying about somebody else. You want them to respect you. Well, here are two things you can do. Treat them with respect and treat yourself with respect. Respect yourself. Be respectable. Conduct yourself with dignity. Like yourself. And then, the chances that a lot of the time you'll get pretty respectful treatment from your kids increases. About respecting them, if you're correcting them all the time, or what they feel like is all the time. One thing I learned from my daughter was I might be mentioning something because she kept doing it and she did it again and I found it frustrating and I wanted to mention it, and even if I was mentioning it kindly, or I thought I was mentioning it kindly, to her the mention at all took me to the domain of unkind. But the repetition to her felt like constant criticism. And so when I really took in that that's how she felt it, it didn't matter anymore whether I was right or wrong. Maybe I was right, but what mattered was, can I treat her with the respect and the love, the unconditional love that doesn't come at someone every second to tell them what they're doing that you don't like, that throws you off, that you wish they would do differently, that would make you more comfortable. and that would make you feel treated with more respect. So when you're launching into lectures about respectful treatment, it's disrespectful. At the very least, it doesn't respect where they're at right now, what's tormenting or haunting them, or what feels where they're disrupted. They're probably in some way not okay about something if they're treating you in a way that's negative. They're probably not loving themselves a whole lot if they're not feeling that warmly toward the person who gave them birth, so who gave them this life. So I invite you to shift your focus. If you need to move away from them, that is a brilliant thing to do. Move away. Don't stick around if you're hating how they're talking to you and if you're feeling bad about what they're requesting, and don't simply deliver what's being requested in the name of love. Tune in if you're frustrated, if you're thrown off, if you're hating it. That's your guidance system to move away. What you want to move toward is what feels good and what feels connected and what feels loving. So if you stay connected to yourself, which may require moving away from your kids sometimes, then you'll be able to tune in the moment that they're not being so great toward you. You know, does it feel good to stay here? Do I want to hang in here and offer what I can and give some love, give some support, give some nurturing, be here on standby, even if I'm just a wall that the kid wants to push against right now. And you'll be able to do that if you're not walking around seething about how you're being treated by your kid. You know, you're the grown-up here, and they're the one going through the most turbulent time of their life. So if you don't feel respected, take action, but not toward the kid. This isn't about them giving you respect. Go give yourself some respect. Go hang out with people who respect you. Go be respectable. Go increase your dignity. Increase your sense of personal power. Be badass. Do something you want to do that's hard, that challenges you, that feels great. Watch how you're holding your body. Like, don't sit around nagging at them or talking to them about anything, whether it's about how they respect you or whatever, in a tone that's angry and shitty and frustrated and resentful. Because you know what? If you hate the sound of your voice, your kid's probably going to pretty well hate it too right about then. So I invite you to turn it to a focus on yourself. Make it about how you treat the kid. Make it about self-care. Again, move away from what doesn't feel good and toward what does. And the more solid you are in yourself, not only is there more likelihood that the kid's going to be respectful and feel good about you, but you're going to catch the moments when you can actually be loving, supportive, connected. And you're going to feel okay when you move away from the kid, not resentful, because you're just leaving them to their journey in those moments, and you're just doing what's appropriate to live a life where you like yourself, where you're respectable, where you respect yourself, and you keep choosing into that.